As an anthropologist, my primary mode of study is words. I rely on listening to the words people tell me and thinking deeply about all of it. But there's a problem with words that I have to always grapple with. What words actually mean can be really different depending on the person speaking them, and these meanings can even change depending on the context that the word finds itself in. Two people could be speaking the same word, but really be speaking different languages based on the depth, connotations, and meanings that these words hold. There's one word that crops up frequently in fandom spaces. It's not new in these places, but it's something I've been encountering a lot. Love. What does it mean to love a celebrity figure or a musical group? What does it mean when a fan gushes with love? There's one movie that I think is the best to talk about the complicated ideas of fandom and love, and that's K-pop Demon Hunters. K-pop Demon Hunters is a movie hosted on Netflix made by Sony Animations. The movie centers around a K-pop girl group who double as demon hunters. They use their voices and their songs to heal the rifts in the world that the demons come out through. While an animated movie about young women who heal the world through the power of song may seem like a silly premise, this brief description doesn't do justice to the emotional depth that this movie really explores. There are so many different dynamics here that I could delve into, but I think a large majority of its intricate theming can be explored through one simple word: love. And in this case, we're going to focus on the love of the fans. From the very beginning of the film, there is a focus on fans. Our introduction to the K-pop girl group Huntr as demon hunters is on their flight to their concert, which gets hijacked by demons. When the demons threaten the lives of Huntr's fans, the idols get upset and are determined to save them. We see their relationship with their fans through their manager's phone. When fans call out, "We love you," the three idols call back, "We love you too." K-pop Demon Hunters is all about the fans and the relationship that Huntrix has with them. One of the important aspects of their power as Demon Hunters is their ability to wield the love and support of their fans. So how does fandom work in relation to love, and how do we see it working in this movie? Well, love in general is a really complicated word to explain. Defining based on some kind of set structural definition doesn't really capture what puts love as something inherently different than just really liking. Love is inherently experiential. It's not enough to just think about the words to define it, but rather on how love is experienced, how it is explored, because this is more of a representation of what people mean when they say love. What someone means when they say that they love their spouse is different to loving their parent, and different again to how you love your child. These differences don't make one wrong in being called love, it's just different. And all this can be a different kind of love all over again when someone says that they love, for example, Taylor Swift. So let's talk for a second about this idea of love and the experiential versions of love. Most of what I'm going to be drawing on here is derived from Mark Duffett's chapter on love in fandom, where he focuses his discussion specifically on music fandoms, which I think is fitting to the discussion of K-pop Demon Hunters. In order to help us understand what is meant when fans of Huntrix say that they love Rumi or Mira, or even Huntrix as a whole, Duffett has given us some other phrases and words that we can use to better explore experiences and considerations which are subsumed by the idea of love. The first is symbolic economy, by which we mean the type of power dynamics which exist between people, only seen in its manifestations like concerts. It is essentially the recognition of the musician's social influence and power over people. It can be seen most visibly in live events like concerts, seen in the high emotional reactions fans have with their experiences of being at the event. Probably the best explanation of symbolic economy is in the idea of energy. There is an energy to the room when there's a concert imminently happening or in the middle of it. And that's something really difficult to explain except in the sheer idea of loving energy. The second is what is described as a knowing field, which is the intense emotional convictions fans collectively enter into when they notice particularly engrossing parts of a performance or persuasive elements of the context and experience. Essentially, what I'm saying is that the knowing field is a field of effect, where one's strong emotional experiences feel immensely personal and yet are also far more than the individual. Entering the knowing field combined with the symbolic economy means that fans are overwhelmed and overpowered by their intense love within a particular moment. The third is described as a pull, the way in which getting closer to an idol intensifies feelings of pleasure. This closeness can be physical, as in being close to a stage or even pulled up on stage with them, but it can also not be physical. It can be an emotional closeness, a spiritual closeness. This idol has a particular pull on a person, one which the fans can feel and long for, creating a temptation to touch, even if not actually physically. The last I'll be talking about today is counter performance, which is how fans interact with the performative templates of their idols. By also interacting and performing these same endeavors, the fans unlock pleasures associated with these roles, movements, and ideas. Now, all these different ways of interpreting the experience of love, again, not the definition, but the experience of it, helps to explain what we're looking at when we talk about fandom love. Not all fans have to experience all of these, but rather they show us different dynamics and explorations of what fan love can actually mean, what it looks like, how they love. And we see all of these dimensions playing out in K-pop Demon Hunters. For most of the movie, we have two competing pop groups, Huntr and the Saja Boys, the Hunters versus the Demons. These two are actively competing for the affection and attention of their fans, as the fans are what give Huntr their powers, and the Saja Boys can use this attention to both lower the effect of the Hunters as well as to feed the great demon Guima. They compete not only by writing and releasing different catchy singles, but also through active participation and performance for the audience. In order to elicit a greater connection and feel from their audience, increasing their inherent pull, the idols attempt to showcase authenticity. The first two songs that we hear from Huntr, How It's Done and Golden, both paint pictures of who they are in reality. They sing openly about their identities, their pasts, and how they feel about themselves and their roles. While Saja Boys are being somewhat authentic in their song, there's a sheen of separation between the actual meaning and the lyrics themselves. Soda Pop talks openly about how the fans are their power source and they want to consume them. However, it's hidden in a sheen of catchy, sugary pop music and large metaphors that are only obvious when you are given knowledge of their deep personal identities, which are largely kept hidden. Both Saja Boys and Huntr compete in a game of authenticity. Saja Boys try to appeal to the fans by attempting to show personality and interest. Their appearance on game shows, for example, are demonstrations of personhood that allow fans to connect to them as personalities. Huntr does much the same, though already having a history of connection to fans to build on. Authenticity and direct personalities and personhood is an important aspect of a connection. Many fans see relatability as an important aspect, something that makes the musical idol something more than just a vessel for music.
They're just like us!
They become a real human being, one which the audience member can directly connect to and feel an affinity for. These relationships formed are somewhat parasocial, but what creates the pull that encourages the attention of love and connection both sides need from their fans. The relationships formed here are parasocial in nature, but they create a pull which encourages the attention of love and connection that both sides need from fans. There's a dynamic to both of these presentations of authenticity. In Golden in particular, their openness of what they experience is highly edited. For example, Mira's lyric, "Called a problem child 'cause I got too wild, now that's how I'm getting paid," hints at her experience with a family who did not always just accept her, or even look maybe a little below the surface to examine why their daughter was acting in a particular way. However, she phrases this experience as an inherently positive thing, celebrating how her past got her to where she is now. While there is an element of authenticity and truth in these lyrics, it's not still inherently true. We see this at the end of the film when Guima is able to turn Mira's own anxieties about finding an accepting and loving family against her, feeding on her own insecurities which tell her she doesn't really deserve one. When she realizes her own shortcomings, it's phrased as wishing she had let the jagged edges see the light instead, hinting to the fact that she hid away the more difficult parts of herself from even her friends and loved ones, but especially from the fans and from her music. While Golden and these other songs showcase elements of their personalities, they are heavily edited depictions and ones which still paint them as somehow perfect. This is, of course, a chosen aspect of the writing for these songs, depicting the pressure that K-pop idols often feel in being perfect and yet somehow also relatable. But let's talk about our final song, This Is What It Sounds Like. This is the moment where everything is on display, where Huntrix reveal to each other and to their fans all of their flaws and their struggles. This is pure authenticity, the true authenticity, rather than the curated and edited versions. And the crowd responds by singing the song with them. Singing along at a concert is not exactly new to K-pop demon hunters. This is something people do at concerts, particularly in more recent experiences of concerts. This is part of the counter-performance kind of experience that we were talking about before. The experience of being there, of being close, of experiencing what they experience, feeling that intense and overwhelming emotions of the symbolic economy meeting the knowing field, and then coming to fruition with a joining in the counter-performance. The audience is not just feeling their love for Huntrix, but directly perform this love to show their connection through the act of echoing the same sentiment back. And this is an important part of K-pop demon hunters. The love and affection of fans is not just a battle for saving people from demons or a mechanism through which to garner attention for their songs. The attention and love of fans directly power each fighting faction. Guima feeds on the souls of fans, and Huntrix relies on the fans' souls, love, and attention to power the Hanmoon, as well as their weapons. It is love which grows the power, but mostly because within that love is the connection to the individual person. There's an interesting correlation in the film between the depiction and idea of an individual's soul and their ability to love. The demons are seen as not having a soul due to their inability to love, and this is what Jinu struggles with throughout the film, grappling with the idea of being able to love despite his flaws, problems, and selfish past. He feels he can love, but struggles to overcome the shame that he feels. Huntrix's ultimate issue in truly achieving a golden Hanmoon is the fact that they hide aspects of themselves that they don't love. These aspects become the part that Guima most feeds on, the quiet, shameful part of ourselves which make us believe that we are not worthy of being loved or loving in return. When Rumi decides that true self-love is recognizing the broken parts of ourselves, this is when the souls return to her friends. And it's this that also allows Jinu to see himself as lovable once again. The fans' ability to give of themselves and their soul to power the Hanmoon, then, is not a parasitic idea like the demonic control from Guima, but rather a reflection of love. And the fandom love, the love shared by fans to both the idol and the community, is a one dimension of this, but is ultimately reignited by Rumi's encouragement of the fans to also love themselves. Even though idol love is parasocial, there is still a two-way dynamic to the relationship which bears attention. When we talk about the social economy, for example, this is a power dynamic in which the idol holds all the power. However, this power is only present because of the love and attention of fans. Without them, the social power is not present at all. Idols and celebrity figures need fans. When the audience sings along to This Is What It Sounds Like, it's not just a powerful demonstration of fandom love, but rather one in which the power dynamic is on display. The social power is held by Huntrix, but only after it was stripped away from them. The fans reconnect to Huntrix and Rumi in particular, not through false or edited authenticity, but rather through the true and real demonstration of their identities. The personalities are reconnected through an honest view of who they are fundamentally, flaws and all. And the audience wholly connects to it because they see a truth in it, and they love Huntrix all the same for it. And my favorite part of all of this, the love of the fans is not depicted only in those familiar experiences of screaming fans at concert halls or fans explaining their ships. It's also in the depiction of the fans singing to give their souls to Huntrix to help fight with. Because to love something, even parasocially, is to give a part of yourself fully. There's something so strong about loving something to the point of fandom. The truth of the matter is, love is a complicated word with a multitude of meanings and readings. The word includes things like admiration, affection, affinity, lust, appreciation, or even just the recognition of creativity. It's not often that the use of the word love in fandom is meant to insinuate something along the lines of romantic connections. Rather, fans use the word to convey both a deep subjective conviction, like a spiritual connection, as well as a shared sense of community between the fans themselves. It's not just singing alone at home which provides a power to the experience of the group counter performance, but the community aspect. It's the crowd gathering to sing it back to Huntrix that truly conveys the experiences of love that we're talking about. Fans fell in love with the meaning of the song. They fell in love with the lyrics. They loved the harmonies. They loved the passion with which it was sung and the spontaneous emotional convictions behind its creation. They love with a kind of love that is only experienced by fans, feeling the energy of their shared space, the social power held by the object of their affection, and in seeing their own selves and their own experiences being echoed in those of someone else on stage.